Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Eddie Jennings from EJSLLC.com. This video is another in my Red Hat Certified Specialist in Linux Diagnostic Troubleshooting Exam EX342 Practice Sessions. Before I dive in, I want to thank returning subscribers for watching another video, as well as invite anyone who's watching, if you haven't subscribed, to click the subscribe button. Also, a reminder to everyone that these are my practice sessions for the exam. My exam is just over a week away, and I'm going through all of the posted objectives and am trying to either explain the objective or do some examples related to it. And at the end of the video, I'll do a little self-assessment and hopefully I'll feel confident. Otherwise, I still have about a week or so to do a little bit of last-minute brushing up to try to get some stuff in the front side of my head for the exam. That being said, these should not be considered tutorials or used as authoritative information. I do try to have the information accurate because at this point, hopefully I haven't learned anything wrong for the exam, but I'm still learning. So these should not be used as any type of authoritative source of information or tutorial. I put these out on the internet in hopes that those that are also preparing for the exam might see some of the stuff that I'm creating as little practice and review for myself, and you get some ideas of things that you can do for yourself. So moving on with the resolve package management issue set of objectives, we're going to look at recover a corrupted RPM database. This is one of these things that you learn the procedure for it and kind of hope that it works, or at least that's how it is for me. There's one step with this that seems kind of counterintuitive, but it apparently works, so hopefully it'll work for me. I'm not solely sure I'm going to be able to actually corrupt my RPM database, but we're going to try. So what I'm going to do to make this work, or try to corrupt the stuff, I'm actually going to do a second window here. We're going to pick on lab server 4 for this one. Become root, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. And we are going to become root. I'm going to take a look at pkill real quick. Give it a -9. Yeah, okay, good. All right, so I'm going to start a rather lengthy DNF install of something, and then I'm going to use pkill to kill the process, and hopefully that will, odd to say this, hopefully that will corrupt the RPM database. What's happening behind the scenes when you use package managers is RPM is keeping up with what's been installed and when. That's one of the reasons why you can do your DNF history and all that good stuff and get information, and within RPM itself be able to query RPM for information. But if that gets broken, it can affect your ability to install packages and cause some other problems. So I'm going to try to break it and then fix it. So let's do DNF install. I'm going to do a group here. What's it? Server with GUI, I think is the name of the group. That's going to be GNOME Desktop and a ton of other things. There was something I didn't like, but yeah, here's a bunch of stuff that gets installed with server with GUI. So we're going to let that work for a bit. Here's our DNF. Right now it's just this downloading things. Once it actually starts to install something, then I'll kill it. Shouldn't take too much longer to download all this stuff. Okay, so there it goes with the install. And let's do pkill signal 9 and DNF. All right, so we were in the middle of installing this and we have broken it. So let's try to, will be another good one. I'm trying to think of other. Let's do DNF group search. Oh, there we go. So we have, oh, well, it's already, yeah, trying to deal with read locks. Let's see if we can install HTTPD. See if it gives us any type of warning. No, it didn't look like it was warning there. One thing you can do, and something I've learned, RPM QA will give you everything, but if you want to see if there are any errors, you can redirect the standard out to dev null and see if it gives us any errors. No, it didn't. Grumble, I was hoping I would break RPM. How can I break RPM? Usually, like if you do this and crash it, or just kill the process. Kill 9 just means get rid of the process, don't let it end gracefully. So let's try installing this again, because it should have a cache. It shouldn't take nearly as long, as it's already downloaded a bunch of stuff, in theory at least. All right, we'll kill it during a transaction check. Let's try it again. There's something else we might be able to do. So we'll probably break this beyond what we could hope for, but let's see. In theory, the cache really shouldn't be something that we have to complain about or worry about. And by the way, I would not do this in any type of production environment. All right, so we killed that file, and we'll kill DNF again. All right, so let's do an RPM QA, see if we can get some errors. All it's doing is complaining about locks. Okay, so let's say that everything is terrible and messed up. So from a troubleshooting perspective, one thing that we can do is sometimes you will have lock files that are a problem. The best thing to deal with that is really just reboot the system to see if locks go away. I am going to run this again. Yeah, it already cleared the locks. Otherwise, you can use LSOF to see what any open files are and find lock files. Otherwise, I think they would live in var lib rpm, is where we might have some lock files. So we're going to assume that we don't have any lock files. We're also assuming that everything is broken, even though despite my best efforts, I don't think I've actually broken it. So the steps that we need to follow, we're going to get rid of the index files, and then we are going to make a copy of all of this stuff that's in RPM, just as a backup. I don't think you necessarily need to back up the index files, but I may be wrong with that. So I'm going to var lib RPM, kill those files. Yes, yes, yes. Now we're going to take a backup of this. So tar, we'll do encrypt it, not encrypt it, compress it, and we'll call it RPM backup tgz, and we're getting lib RPM. Ah, there was a lock file. I'll have backed up the lock file. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to reboot this server real quick and see if those lock files go away. Shouldn't take long to reboot. Wait for ping to come back. Okay, so SSH back into that, sudo-i. I'm actually going to get rid of that little backup. And let's run actually lsla var lib rpm. Oh, those are old files. Maybe that's they should have been there. I can't remember off the top of my head what the lock file, what its actual name looks like. Maybe that's something that will be worthwhile in my last preparations, like while I'm installing, server with GUI, go into this directory and look at what files appear. But anyway, let's do our backup again. So tar zvcf rpm back up tgz var lib rpm. Probably should have done a slash there, but that's fine. All right, so we're assuming that RPM is broke. So one of the things that we can do to verify if RPM is broke, there is an application. I'm actually going to go into the user lib RPM directory. There's several little applications. I think they're actually scripts. Let's tail one of these. No, it's actual binary. And so what we're going to do is do rpmdb verify. Oh yeah, this isn't in the path, so we have to do the rpmdb verify, and we are verifying var lib rpm packages. The things that I'm doing, you can do within the var lib rpm directory. I've seen some weirdness happen with that as far as it complaining that files are not valid when they actually are. So when I've practiced this, I have not been in that directory. So let's see what happens. Okay, so there's nothing actually wrong with this, but we're going to assume that there was some type of a problem. So as strange as this sounds, or at least the steps that I have learned, and if you have better steps, by all means put those in the comments. I'm not going to see them until after I've tried the exam, because I'm going through all these practice sessions, and eventually I'll get time to put them out onto YouTube. But future folks who are watching my practice sessions and seeing some of the stuff that I'm doing would benefit from seeing a better way. But what we're going to do is rename this packages to something. So I'm going to call it packages.broke. Oh, maybe learn how to use the MV command before you take your test. And what we are going to do is do a dump of this broke packages, and then we are going to load that into a new packages. And I haven't wrapped my head around how this works, but apparently what will happen is in that process of loading, RPM is going to somehow know what the proper packages are and only put that into the new database file. Not sure how it works, but I think even on Red Hat's site, this is the way. But I myself wish I understood more about why it is the way. So we're going to do that. We're going to simulate this here. So we'll do rpmdb./rpmdb dump. And I'm going to be lazy and do some copy paste here. Pipe that to rpmdb load just packages. And this might take a little bit of time, especially on my little VM here that's fairly underpowered. All right, and so now we're going to rerun our verify command on this newly created packages file. And it succeeds because, again, it never was really broke, but that's what you would hope to see. And the last thing we need to do is rebuild the indexes. That's some of those files that were deleted. And I believe I'm going to go into man just to make sure. Thought it was -- rebuild, but apparently not. All right, let's go back to home and search for build again. Now let's just see what happens. RPM rebuild d. No, that doesn't look right. What was that command? This is going to bother me. Sometimes it's easier to do the -- help just to get a quick list of items. It's like there was one other command to rebuild the indexes that needs to happen. Verify options. Query options. You know, this is what I'm thinking of. rpmdb rebuild db. Okay, rpmdb rebuild db. I can't win. You know, I should have LS'd that varlib rpm directory. But if I do it now, I guess we don't have the index files. I would think that they would have been recreated. So let's see if we can install httpd after we have simulated a failure of the database, which wasn't really broke, but recovered the not broke database. Let's see if I've totally broken my package management system. Well, it seems successful. And there's some indexes. So maybe it was not rebuilding the indexes, it was rebuilding the actual database itself. All right, so for the assessment of recover a corrupted RPM database, I'm obviously not a master of this, but I think I do have the procedure under my fingers. I'll recheck Red Hat documentation to make sure. But I think if I had to do this on the exam, it would probably work if the procedure that I have learned is the way for whatever it's broken. But I think within RPM, there's probably enough documentation. If I do have some type of real obscure, strange thing, that I'd be able to figure it out. So I'm going to consider this a pass. Hopefully you found the video useful. If you did, make sure you do click like. And I want to thank returning subscribers again for watching another video, as well as invite anyone, if you haven't subscribed, to click that subscribe button and ring the bell when you do. And for everyone, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I will see you the next time.